There is a large police presence in several of our town and city centres tonight amid reports of more planned protests. Lincolnshire Police have put a dispersal order in place for Carlton Boulevard in Lincoln after speculation about a demonstration there. Many businesses have been boarding up their windows in preparation. And Humberside Police that say that there will be significantly more action and arrests over the coming days as they investigate the violence in Hull on Saturday. We'll have the latest from Hull in a moment. First, tonight's report comes from Sarah May Bucheri in Lincoln.
We don't know what to expect, so we're nervous, really. Time's ticking by, it's getting closer. What's going to happen?
Closing early, boarding up. It's not ideal for business. But for shops at the Carlton Centre in Lincoln, they say they're faced with no choice after hearing about rumours of a protest in the area.
19 years of business, I've never had to do this, so this is a first. But we want the shop to be safe. We also want customers to stay away now, really, and also to get my staff out without any harm. So I'm just hoping nothing occurs.
I think it is disgusting, it's ridiculous, and it's sad as well that our country's come to this.
Obviously really scary. It's quite a small, close community, so the thought that somebody might come here and do that to people of our community is horrible.
I just don't think it should be happening, really. It's just really, I don't like it. It's just scary how it's all going here and it's just being targeted.
But the suspected protest hasn't just taken an emotional toll, there's a financial price too. Boarding up windows costs money.
We have 49 windows and a lot of the other stores have obviously only several, so the quote that we've received is just way too high for us to be able to budget for, which is very unfortunate, but it is just one of those risks we're having to take. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously everyone has their own opinions and you can't make them change their opinions, but in my own I think it's quite frankly just awful.
Whether it takes place or not, shopkeepers say an impact has already been felt. They've had to close and they've lost trade. Sarah May Bucheri, BBC Look North, Lincoln.
Well, that's the situation in Lincoln. In a moment, I'll be speaking to one of the top officers at Lincolnshire Police. There he is, Assistant Chief Constable Chris Davison is waiting to talk to us in just a moment. But first, Natalie Bell has spent the day talking to business owners and shoppers in the centre of Hull over fears over more violence in the city tonight.
A quieter than usual Hull city centre and more police out on patrol after reports about another demonstration in the city this evening.
Very conscious about it, very nervous and anxious as a young person. It makes you feel like you're going to be victimised.
I've been sent home from work, so that's where I'm going. I do feel a bit concerned for the elderly people that are still in town.
Do you think people are staying away?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, if I had small children, I wouldn't bring them into the city centre.
This is where the riots took place last weekend, where shops were targeted and looted. Some have reopened, but others remain closed.
Now, there's apprehension in the city centre today from businesses who are concerned that these events could be repeated following rumours that have been circulating on social media.
Hopefully we won't see the scenes of what we did on Saturday evening, but I think the people of Hull are definitely standing against it, hence why they're out today, trying to continue with their lives.
One of the precautions we're taking, obviously taking out the seating area. We do have tables and chairs which could obviously be used as a threat. You can see what they're trying to aim for, obviously the colour of people's skin kind of worries us, but it's just kind of unfair to be thinking like, oh, we need security or we need to do these type of precautions of being in a city centre, especially in 2024.
Jack is one of the owners of Cherry's Bar in the city centre. He's also taken extra precautions and has cancelled tonight's drag show.
It's been a lot of stress. There's no point really having them, getting them all up in drag, which takes a long time. The whole point of this street is meant to be a safe space. That's what we do all year round. And like, people are scared to come out now.
There's been no sign of any protests in Hull so far today. People have been frustrated with the role social media's been playing and potential misinformation being spread. But with rumours widely circulating, many businesses in the city centre weren't taking any chances. Natalie Bell, BBC Look North, Hull.
And some figures for you. 4 more people are in police custody today after the riots in Hull at the weekend. 3 teenage boys and a 20-year-old man have been arrested under suspicion of violent disorder. 35-year-old Christopher Douglas has also been charged. 35 people have now been arrested in connection with the events on Saturday. Well, let's talk about the policing situation now. Assistant Chief Constable Chris Davison is from Lincolnshire Police and he's joining us now. Mr Davison, good evening to you. Good to have you on the programme.
Good evening.
What intelligence do you have about what is going on or what could go on in Lincoln tonight?
So we received a report which I think was widely circulated on social media about a whole host of locations across the UK. One of those was in Lincoln, which purported to be an organised protest around solicitors that dealt with immigration services in Lincoln. But as your report just said, actually, there are many rumours and half-truths circulating on social media. In actual fact, there is no solicitor's office dealing with immigration at the location, but we have to prepare in case protesters turn up as if that was going to be the case.
Have you got extra police on duty tonight than you would normally have?
Yes, we have. I mean, throughout the disorder across the country, we've had officers stood up to provide assistance if required in other force areas. And tonight for Lincolnshire, we have an increased police presence of specially trained public order officers. But of course, it is important to say that those officers, many of whom have had their rest days cancelled, but do so willingly to make sure that Lincolnshire remains safe.
Have some people been called back off leave?
We haven't had to call people from leave, but we have had to call people back from their allotted days off. And policing is an exacting and quite strenuous profession, so it's not something we do lightly, but we understand how important it is to have the officers ready should we need them to react robustly to any disorder should it occur.
As we've just seen in the reports there, some shops have closed early and boarded up. Is that sensible or is that an overreaction?
I think people must make their own minds up. It's not something that we have advised, although, given the disorder in other parts of the country, I don't find it that surprising that some members of our community will feel very anxious. And we've seen absolute disgraceful disorder across the country, and I'm determined that that won't happen in Lincolnshire.
Watching the pictures of police officers around the country and facing what Keir Starmer calls thugs, it's a lot for police officers to cope with, some of which will be young and new and never having faced anything like this before.
Yes, absolutely right. It's important to remember that police officers are just ordinary people who are called to do their duty. I mean, nobody signed up to the police to have bricks thrown at them or weapons used against them or assaulted. But we all come to our duty to try and keep the country safe. And, those people who have committed acts of violence against their own communities, committed this kind of damage, there is no excuse for this behaviour, and certainly not for assaults against police officers.
I just had some figures there just before we started talking. Do you think that the rapid sentencing and court appearance, is that going to act as a deterrent for anyone else who was thinking of going out?
I think sentences being passed for 2-3 years for people without previous convictions reflect the seriousness of what's gone on in the last week or so. And so, yes, I hope it will give people pause to think about their actions. I certainly don't want to have to arrest people and ensure that they go through the criminal justice system. But actually, if you do take part in disorder, you can expect to be arrested, dealt with robustly and put before the courts as soon as we can get you there.
Well, I hope it's a quiet night and all the very best to you and your team tonight. Assistant Chief Constable, good to have you on the programme tonight. Good to talk. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And response on this story still coming in 3 or 4 days in, so thank you for all the texts and tweets. Just a few on the programme. Now, first of all, Anita, who says, and I have to say many of the emails, texts and tweets were exactly the same line as Anita. Why don't the police use water cannons to disperse the people? Lots of people saying that. Now, remember last night I was talking to Labour's Darren Hale in the studio. Paul says that Councillor Darren Hale is sadly well out of touch. People have legitimate concerns about illegal immigration and he's trying to blame it on Tommy Robinson. Who is he trying to kid? A desperate and deluded answer, says Paul. And Steve says, stop calling them, this is another one that so many people have said, stop calling them protests. They are riots and those attending are rioters. By calling them protests, you are part of the problem and not the solution. Thank you for all of those. Not too late. You just heard there what the police have got to say. What's your response on that? And the way this story has unfolded so far? Are the long sentences that we've seen handed out today are the answer? Some people have got 2 and 3 years in prison. Let me know what you think. If you want to get in touch, the email address is there, looknorth@bbc.co.uk. Follow me on Twitter and tweet me now, or text 81333, 81333. Start that text with the word Look North, then it will come straight to us. We'll have some of your comments at the end of the programme, and we'll have some more tomorrow night at the usual time. And I just wanted to briefly read this. Peter, I'd like to say a big thank you to both bus companies and council workers who work with the buses, working together to get people home safely on Saturday. Lots of people said that. That one, though, is from Mr. Newton. Thank you for watching this Wednesday night. Tonight's photograph, Alfie Ogden took